Hey everybody, you may recall that I did a video, I believe May 23rd, I believe was the date, titled, How the IMF Takes a Country's Assets, parentheses, Greece. And in that video, which I'll link to in my description of this video, I mentioned how they go in, they forcefully give a country a loan through the politicians of that country, and in this case the Prime Minister of Greece, who's a scumbag and works for the elite, and he's like, yeah, we need this loan. Meanwhile, the entire Greece population says, no, we don't want the loan, we don't need the loan, we're in dire straits as it is. Best solution, default on the debt and start over. Oh, no, we don't want a sovereign default, we don't want a sovereign default, we've got to fix things. So we're going to take a huge loan on top of the debt we have with interest on it, and somehow that's going to magically fix the debt problem. This is insane. And I go on to talk about that. I also go on to talk about this guy Strauss-Kahn, ex-IMF guy, how he was detained, put in jail, and not given bond whatsoever until he resigned and said, I resigned from the top IMF position. Then all of a sudden, miraculously, he's able to post bond. The judge grants the wish. Here, you can post bond. Have a nice day. You can get out of jail. But now you've got to, of course, he's going to have to go to court over this. It was nonsense, one way or other. Whether he's having sex with the girl or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's just a ploy to get him out of that position. I go on to talk about that girl, Christine, or I think it's Christie or Christine Lagarde, who's the top, one of the top leaders of getting ready to join the IMF as the new boss to replace him, and how she came out and said, oh, Greece just needs to start privatization sales to help pay its debt. And I said, oh, with comments like that, she's gonna be head of the IMF. So I go on to talk about how they do that. They go in and take assets, waterways, water companies, garbage companies, electric companies, toll roads, etc., 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 government buildings, prisons, etc. I said all of this in the video almost a month ago now, basically. We're on the 20th, so practically a month ago I said this. And it's amazing how when you are informed, when you have the right knowledge, the right information, how easy it is to make a prediction and sit back and watch it unfold. When in reality, it's not really a prediction. For example, if you see someone across the street dumping a can of gasoline on the ground and walking 10 feet in line, pulling out a huge lighter, and right as they pull out that lighter, you say, oh, I'm going to make a prediction. He's going to set that line of gasoline on fire and set that house on fire. Be pretty obvious, wouldn't it? But it's not obvious if you've never seen anyone do that before, and you didn't know gasoline was flammable, and you didn't know what a lighter was, right? In other words, you are uninformed. You don't have the knowledge to understand what's going on. So, because I do have the knowledge, I study all of this stuff, I've spent years studying these types of things, I made the video and told you what was going to happen, how the IMF rolls, and what they're going to do, and they're going to go after Greece, right, okay. So, a month later, front page of my news Google page, at the time I printed this out today, June 20th, 2011, headline from CNN, Greece prepares to sell off state assets to get loans. Wait a minute, just watch my video from 30 days ago, on the 23rd or whatever. I already told you what was going to happen, and it's happening, just as I said it would. The IMF is a scumbag organization. It's part of the one world government that they're going to set up, and it is going in and taking assets from the people and saying, you need this loan, we're cramming this loan into your face, you're gonna take it, and on top of that, because the first loan didn't work, we're gonna give you a better loan the second time for more money, but the conditions, which you already agreed to before, the austerity measures, which you did do, you did implement, and the Greece people didn't like it, still didn't work. And the PM, the Prime Minister, at that point said, look, we've implemented your austerity measures. Can you extend the loan for us? In other words, we can't make the payments on time. We need an extension of the loan because this isn't working. So if you followed the rules that they set forth, we'll give you this bailout, even though the people didn't want it. You're going to have to stranglehold those people, put nooses around their neck because they don't want austerity measures and they don't want the loan, but you're going to force it for us because you're our guy, you're a member of the club, and the people of Greece voted for you, you're the prime minister, right? So he pulls this off and still can't make the loan payment. I did a video and talked about that as well. So, now they're going to get another round of bailouts with another massive loan on top of the previous loan. And this time, headline, Greece prepares to sell off state assets to get loans. Greece is preparing to sell off billions of dollars worth of state assets, including, remember what I told you, go ahead and hit pause, go back to my 30-day ago video, and the things that I mentioned in that video that they like to go after as assets or collateral that they want in exchange for the loan that they know you can't pay on anyways. Listen to some of the things that I said then, and amazingly, listen to what I have to say right now from today's article. Greece is preparing to sell off billions of dollars worth of state assets, including airports, highways, state-owned companies, as well as banks, real estate, and gaming licenses to meet international lenders' demands that it raise funds. Notice that word, international lenders' demands. No, international banksters' financial terrorist demands is what that should say. Same thing. European finance ministers said Sunday that they were on track to give Greece a second huge bailout to keep the government afloat, but reiterated that Athens had to take tough measures to get it. They already took tough measures to get the first loan that they didn't want, and they couldn't pay it back. So what the hell makes you so sure that this time a bigger loan on top of the original loan is going to fix things? This is exactly what I told you would happen 30 days ago. They want the assets. They know Greece is going to fail. They know Greece is going to collapse. They know Greece cannot pay the money back. So what they're saying is, sell all these assets so that you can come up with the money, and then we know you'll be able to pay our loans back. But guess who is going to be buying those assets that the Greek government sells? The international criminal banksters. Or excuse me, lenders. Lenders. Let's use a nice word for these guys. And then they're going to own the waterways, they're going to own the highways and put toll roads up. They're going to own your electric company, they're going to own all kinds of government buildings. And when they decide, as I said in my last video 30 days ago about this, they will choose to raise rates on everything whenever they feel like it. And if economic times suck, sorry about your luck, we don't care. We're not Greece. We don't live in Greece. We're internationalists. We don't hold anything to any country. We live wherever we want to live. And damn it, we need profits right now. We're raising rates on you guys. And as I said in my other video, they'll simply raise the rates and people will stand around, man, another electric rate hike. Man, that sucks. Man, the water bill went up again. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, water company, what's going on over here? And the average person may not even realize that the boss of those companies, which you thought were public, aren't public, and the bosses are now these internationalists, namely the IMF. And if they decide to raise rates in your country, there's jack crap you can do about it, unless of course you want to start a revolution, which is probably how this is going to end. So let me continue reading this. Greece has to raise 50 billion euros, or about 71 billion US dollars, through privatization by 2015, Eurogroup members said. Eurogroup members said. What is Eurogroup? Oh, you mean the EU, the European Union, and the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. Oh, so let's change the name a little bit and call it the Eurogroup now. Okay. It also has to push through tough budget-cutting measures, they said, despite widespread protests in the country that forced a government reshuffle last week. Let's talk about that reshuffle. I'm the mafia. I'm a bad guy. I'm the head of my mafia organization. I'm the big cheese. And I've got 6 people under me that are second and third command, right? My guys, my boys, the club. Everything else up under them, well, that doesn't really matter what they do because we can overrule all of our guys. We tell them what to do, kind of like a government does. Well, people caught on that we're a fraudulent organization, we're criminal, and we're the mob. They now know it's us. Crap. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Oh, I've got an idea. My second in command was head of my drug smuggling operation, and my third guy was in charge of the money laundering operation. I have an idea. I'll switch those 2 positions, okay? And then the other 4 or 5 guys I've got, whatever they do for me, I'll just reshuffle them around and let the same operations continue with a different one of my cronies doing it. That's what happened last week when they said that. It also has to push through tough budget cutting measures, they said, despite widespread protests in the country that forced a government reshuffle last week. It didn't force a government reshuffle. That was the Prime Minister's way of saying, okay, I hear you people, we understand, I understand you're not happy with the decisions I and Parliament have been making, so I'm now taking the time to reshuffle the government. Alright, so I've got 5 cards, right? 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. Those are my cards. 9, 10, Jack, King, Queen. I'm just going to shuffle the cards around, and now you have 10, 9, Queen, Jack, King. You have the same damn cards. That's all this is. You have the same people. Is that supposed to work? Are the people that stupid not to figure out that a reshuffle is completely nothing nonsense? What is this? This is laughable if it wasn't so freaking serious. European finance ministers Sunday made an understated reference to the weeks of protests on the streets of Athens and the political crisis that ensued. And I love this dog. I swear to God, if I see this dog one more time, every video that you see, firebombs and Molotov cocktails, police on fire, stuff smoking, cars on fire, overturned, windows breaking, trash all in the streets, massive protests going on in Greece. Not just protests, but violence. That damn dog is on the front lines. I laugh every time I see that. I'm a new video, brand new. Oh, cool, watch it for a minute. There comes a damn dog running in there, just hanging out, loving it. Wow, there's that damn dog again. Wasn't that dog there 2 months ago when this first little scuffle started? Yes, it was him. So then again, you know, a month, 2 months later, another thing happens. Another video comes out yesterday, another video before that. That damn dog's in there. That dog is the key. That dog's doing more than the sheeple. Incredible. Then you can see that too. That's the dog. It was even put in the page. I cut the other pictures out, but that dog was in there in the front lines hanging out. I mean, in the front. This dog is awesome. Anyways, ministers recognize the considerable progress achieved by Greek authorities over the last year and are also conscious of the serious challenges that Greek citizens are facing in these difficult times, said members of the group, which consists of officials from countries in the Euro economic zone. No kidding. They wouldn't say such a thing. European ministers aim to keep Greece solvent. Why? Why does everything have to remain solvent? It can't remain solvent, especially when you give it the tool to make it way more insolvent, which is more debt. This is crazy. European ministers, banksters, criminals, aim to keep Greece solvent. Of course they do. Because as long as they can use that word, we must remain solvent, right? You can't default on your credit card. You can't file bankruptcy. That's why those things are in place, so that you can restructure. That's what a reshuffle should be, a reshuffling of the debt, and it's called get rid of it, we start over. F you bankers, have a nice day. No, 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 no. Greece must remain solvent so that we can sell off all the private companies, or not private companies, public companies to private hands, privatization. And then after that, we already know Greece is going to collapse anyways, but we don't care. Then we can throw out the Greek prime minister anyways, let the people deal with him. We've got all the assets, and that bozo was nothing but a stepping stone for us elitists when he in fact thought he was one of the boys. We made him feel like he was one of the boys, but we just stepped on that cockroach like we do all the other cockroaches and all the other third world countries that the IMF did this to in the 80s and 90s. And this guy in Greece thinks he's going to be the man after all this. He's going to get some big position. Maybe he will for setting this up. You know, who knows? This is crazy. So European ministers aim to keep Greece solvent and prevent its economic crisis from worsening and spreading through Europe and beyond. We already know it's going to spread through Europe and beyond. This is given. You can't fix a debt problem with more debt. You can't put a fire out by setting it on fire even more, by throwing gasoline and other combustibles on top of it. That's what this is. And they stand back with a suit and tie and we must remain insolvent. I'm the prime minister. You guys voted for me and my cabinet members, as well as the other 20 people I appointed by the powers vested in me that are all members of my club. We've decided we must remain solvent. In other words, we've decided the house that's on fire, that's got antiques and all kinds of beautiful things in it, that's going to burn down and go down as a huge day in history, we've decided to pour more gasoline on that fire in hopes of putting it out. How could you actually say that? Think about this. Fire department official today says that, you know, what'd you say again, sir? Well, that raging fire over there that we're trying to put out, we've got to get this under control. It's just starting to spread out of control right now, and there's some houses next to it that are going to start catching fire. If we don't get this under control soon, the whole block will catch on fire, and then down the street will catch on fire, right? The Eurozone countries. And so what do you plan on doing? We're going to douse this with an overhead flying plane, and it's not, oh, you're going to put water in there. No. We're going to douse it with jet fuel, high-grade jet fuel. The reporter would look at you and say, what? You're going to drop highly flammable, high-grade jet fuel on a raging fire that you don't want to spread to the surrounding areas. Yeah, we've got this under control, thanks. Is that the guy you want in control of your country? Your parliament? Your Congress? Whatever you have in your country? That's so disturbing. That's like sickening. Like, oh my God. And then you realize you may be one of the people who voted for that person. But at the same time, to back you up, the other choice, right? The democracy, the two choices, Democrat, Republican, or the Labor Party and the whatever party, we'd have the same discussion no matter who won. So in all fairness, yeah, I know you voted for that bozo, so you kind of feel like crap right now. But if you voted for the other bozo, you'd feel like crap now too anyways, because it wouldn't change. Nothing would change. Which is how and why revolutions take place. So, anyways, there's a guy that walks up and down this sidewalk where I work at, and his nickname is Chunk from the Goonies. There's something a little weird with this guy, and someone was just getting in their car at my job to go to lunch or something and was pounding on my window. Look. I look over there, Chunk's down there walking on the street. It's kind of an inside joke for us stupid. Anyways, the statement came a day after Papandreou, which is the PM, called for lawmakers to back his latest round of budget-cutting measures, telling them the government must stop spending more than it takes in. So if that's the case, which is true, this doesn't help by getting a massive loan all of a sudden. That doesn't really change anything, because all those government spending that they do is usually spent by increasing and expanding government to have more positions. So if you get rid of those positions, that's more people on unemployment that don't have jobs. It's just, I just don't understand this. The crisis raises concerns for Europe's currency, the euro. A default on its debts by Greece or other struggling nations such as Portugal or Ireland could adversely affect the world economy. The harsh reforms designed to help reduce Greece's enormous budget deficit have so far led to tax hikes and public job sector losses alongside already record high unemployment. There are fears that efforts to restructure Greece's debt could send shockwaves through Europe's banking sector and spark investor panic similar to that in 2008 collapse of Lehman Brothers, the US-based global investment bank. Papandreou faces opposition from his party over the austerity measures needed to secure an additional bailout package. But wait, Papandreou, Papa, please, Papa, don't rape the children and the people of Greece with your austerity measures. Please, Papa. You already put in austerity measures that were draconian. Now you want to implement even more. I would be scared to death if I was that guy. The Greek government's popularity has plunged recently, and anti-government protests turned violent Wednesday as demonstrators threw gasoline bombs at the finance ministry and police fired tear gas at protesters, the police said. On June 9th, the cabinet approved a tough 5-year plan for 2011 to 2015 and introduced a bill in Parliament to put austerity measures into effect. The latest measures include further cuts in public spending and more tax increases. The government proposes reducing the public sector workforce by 150,000. Workers will also face changes in working hours, practices, and wages. Workers will also face changes in working hours, practices, and wages. Now, why can't you bozos at CNN call a spade a spade? Workers also face changes? No. Workers also face massive cuts in working hours, practices, and wages. That's what you need to put there, not changes. The plan also sets out changes to social benefits, including pensions and unemployment aid. According to the finance ministry, these measures will help achieve 28.3 billion euros in cuts from 2012 to 2015 and shrink Greece's public deficit to less than 3% of gross domestic product, in accordance with the EU target. The government has said the passage of these additional measures is essential to Greece's securing the 5th portion of the first 110 billion euro bailout package that Greece signed with the European Union and the International Monetary Fund, IMF of course, to prevent the country from defaulting on its debts. They need to default on their debts. Now notice how this guy and his parliament are just continuing as if there's no one outside protesting. Everything's fine. We don't care if people are protesting. They're not attacking us. They're just attacking the police. And if you'll recall in my last video that I'm talking about from a month ago, I said when these people are scared, that's why I said it. I've said recently, why don't the people, instead of throwing Molotov cocktails back and forth and the police shoot back tear gas and they throw it back, and now the protesters have gas masks, so it doesn't matter. Go in and detain the police peacefully, calmly, non-violently, and you will see the fear of God in all of Parliament and Mr. Prime Minister himself, and immediately all probably resign or tell the entire country, we will not be continuing with the bailout plan, we will default on the debt, thank you, please release the police. Because they would know that after the police are detained, the people are going to walk right into Parliament. Matter of fact, probably while the police are being detained by the people. And they will walk into Parliament, and before they could close that door, I guarantee you the entire country of Greece would change for the better. Because those politicians would have the fear of God in them right there. Actually worse than the fear of God, the fear of the people in them, of what the people are going to do to them. And you will see they wouldn't dare vote on the austerity measures, and it would be case closed immediately. That's what it takes. So as long as the police are standing there, whether they're getting fired on with tear bombs and Molotov cocktails or not, they're still standing there protecting the Parliament behind them. But you'll recall just a few days ago, I think there's 3 people on his team, the Parliament or whatever, on his side that said one of them specifically, but I thought the article said that there was 3, and then spoke about what the one guy said, I think. And the one guy from Parliament said, I'm not going to vote on austerity measures. And he was one of the guys who originally was going to. He was one of the boys of that Parliament and changed his mind all of a sudden. And when asked, why are you changing your mind all of a sudden, sir? So that I can walk home safe. You can have change like that, but it requires physically getting out, physically doing something, and physically putting your hands, or almost physically putting your hands on your leader or leaders, or putting your hands and detaining the people who are protecting those leaders. You don't have to be violent. I'm not saying you have to, you know, go after these police in Greece with a gun at gunpoint. No. You can use those little zip ties and tie their hands behind their back like they would handcuff anyone else and detain them. Only detain. You wouldn't have to hold them very long at all. Parliament would freak out within minutes and immediately resign or tell the whole world, we're not passing austerity measures, we're defaulting on the debt, have a nice day. Okay, thank you. Cut all the police little plastic things loose. Have a nice day, officers. By the way, officers, we just saved your pension, officer. We just saved your retirement, officer. And by the way, you remember 2 years ago when they had the Bilderberg meeting here and all you officers were chasing people around and detaining people and putting them in jail for no reason, then letting them out just to stay away from these elitists at Bilderberg meeting? They were deciding on these austerity measures that are going to destroy your pension, and you didn't even know it, and you're sitting there with your big chest puffed out like you're some kind of badass. I'm an officer of the law who's going to be minus a pension officer of the law. And you protected the people that the innocent civilians were trying to get to put pressure on them to get the hell out of their country and to let it be exposed of what they're doing inside that meeting. But you idiots, police officers in Greece I'm referring to, stood there, I'm an officer, I'm bad, I've got authority. And you threw all these people in jail illegally because you didn't know what to do with them, and then charges dropped, let them out. Well, it's too late now. Bilderberg's over. So all you idiot police officers in Greece, I'm speaking of, that did this, the people were trying to save your pensions and your children's livelihoods and your livelihood, because as I just read to you, if they get this plan pushed through and they start selling off Greece's people's assets, the public's assets, water companies, roadways, tolls, as it mentioned, and as I mentioned 30 days ago, your kids are going to suffer, and you're going to suffer too, because all the rate hikes are going to hit you guys in an already crappy economy. And then what? Then crime's going to go up. Sure, you'll still have your police job, but it's going to suck dealing with crime and getting attacked by people, because that's what happens when crime increases. Attacks on officers increase. Everything just goes downhill. So letting people detain you would be in your best interest to show the government the people are right. As a matter of fact, to avoid that, a better solution would be to turn around and walk into Parliament with your entire police force, grab the Parliament members, and push them out into the street towards the public. See how much change will come soon then. You don't have to get detained. No, none of this has to happen. But the people at the top, the Parliament, who feel that they're untouchable, need to learn a lesson that the people still run the show and will lay a smackdown when necessary. And I'm having a feeling that that's how this is going to end, because this guy and his Parliament are not, they're not letting up. They're still trying to get this passed. And if they do pass this, I have a feeling Greece will be on fire. If they pass the selling of Greek assets to international criminals, I'm confident you're going to see a very violent explosion of protests and revolution in Greece, shortly to be followed by Portugal and Ireland, and probably Spain. There's already protests yesterday in Spain. I don't even know where the hell that came from right now. Anyways, that's all I got. Have a nice day.